Okay, we're ready for test. We've got our German engineer, German-made amp meter, which should give us hertz. We're connected as a tie point on the side of a breaker that's turned off. That goes to here, and then the big wires go to here, which goes to the outside connection, which goes to the generator. I've got my stopwatch here. Measuring gas consumption. Well, this isn't very good here, but I think I have that thermocouple in there. This is just secondary data acquisition to see how much this tank is going to heat up. I wrote that down here, 1256, 51.6 degrees, and we're ready to test. So I'm going to spool this generator up, turn the load on, and measure the current, see what happens, and of course the gas. So here we go. Wow, yeah, it barely put a load on it. What do we have here? 34.2. The frequency dropped a little bit. Wow, I don't know if that's normal. 33. It's about what we were drawing before. Guess I can measure the voltage. 58. It's not 60 hertz, but I could play with the adjustments on the mixture maybe. We'll let this guy heat up. We'll monitor the temperature here. Okay, the interesting thing is going to be get my stopwatch out and measure the gas consumption. So let me take this off. The generator sounds like it's running good. Now let's see what the little spinny wheel shows here. Oh boy, that baby's cruising. Cruising, I tell you. So we're going to measure the time it takes for 2 revolutions. So we'll get ready here and we'll go 12 to 12. Here, ready, well, not ready, but 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're running. Wow. 1 revolution. Get ready for 2 revolutions. Okay, 21 seconds. Wow. That's basically using twice what it was before. Holy smokes. So, I don't know. Do we have any temperature rise? So let's make one note of that. 21.81. 21.81 seconds. I'll just say 21.8 seconds per cubic foot. Okay, I'll have to do some math to figure out what our gas consumption is at what our current is, which is still 34.2. I'm going to call that 34 amps, 33.9, 34. Say 34 amps, and what was our frequency? 58.75, 58.2. 8.7. Okay, so we got some data to start with. Focusing or not? I think it is. I can play with that a little bit. There we go. we'll come back and do a little bit more testing later on, or measuring later on. And 21.8. Okay, good. We got data. Data's good. Okay. Generator sounds awesome. I don't know what else to check for. I guess I can check voltage. Yeah, I should do that. Still running a little low. Current fluctuating a little bit. All right, I'll go measure the voltage. Happy with this setup. It is drawing some fuel, some natural gas quite a bit. And boy, we got temperature here, 79 degrees already. I can write that down. Oh yeah, it's lukewarm. So 34.5 amps, 58 hertz. I'd have to check that on a scope. And then compare that with propane and/or gasoline. I'm a perfectionist at times. I like to get that baby right at 60 hertz. I could drop some of this load, maybe cut this wire, disconnect this, and bring it down to 4,000 watts instead of 8,000 watts. So 8,000 watts out of rated 9,500 watts is about 85% load. So there's still some more capacity. More capacity. I forgot. I could go put another 1,500 amps or 1,500 watts on there. Put that space heater. If I can find that doggone thing. Where is that space heater? Yeah, buddy. Let me go shut the video off and find that. We're going to put a little bit more load on. Okay. One of the tests I forgot to do was the half load test. So this is PKW. We know that it draws 34 amps thereabouts, and it's less than 60 hertz, wide open throttle. One of the things I should do is drop one of these heating elements and see what happens to the load. So I guess the best way to do that would be shut the generator off, open that connection up. So see if I can do that safely here. Yeah, I guess I should just go shut the thing off and disconnect that jumper wire here real quick. I'm just curious to see if that frequency is going to come up. Wanted to see if maybe we're out of regulation here. So boy, okay, that screwdriver's too big. Let's see if I have a little one here. Maybe I'll just go grab my Phillips head. And this. Yeah, we were out of regulation. So it's up to 62 hertz, 17.5 amps. Okay, so if I put this in here. Oh yeah, I hear it loading down. So yeah, that's already out of regulation at 8 kW. Little inductive arc there. Ah. Here, a little loose. Yeah, this wire is fatter than the other one, so I can't get it tight. So let's make contact. So anyway, I just wanted to do that test. So yeah, maybe what I could do is do the same test on gasoline. In fact, now is probably a good time to do that. So I'll just cut the gas off and feed this with some gasoline. Yeah, I'm going to shut this off and go get some gas. Here we go. And now we're starting to bog down a little bit. We may be out of capacity here. Oh yeah, I went down to 52 hertz. Wow, 31. Our voltage is down. Let me turn it to low. Yeah, so it doesn't look like we can do full capacity. Then we can go look at our natural gas usage. Yeah, it's laboring. We go disconnected. And I wonder if I should try playing with the fuel mixture. Okay, we're back at 34.58. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. So let me go measure the gas consumption with that heavy load on it. So 9,500 watts is what the rated load is, and apparently it can't muster that. That is interesting. So we'll reset this puppy. I'll go plug this thing back in. 8,000 watts, 1,500 watts. Here we go. Yeah, that loaded it down, baby. Yeah, we were out of capacity. Oh, that's cruising. That is cruising. actually, if it's running low, maybe it's not consuming as much gas. I don't know. One revolution. Yeah, here we go. 24. Most of the same. Okay, take a look. So 52 hertz, 32 amps, 24. Okay, I'm going to go try to, we'll go check the RPM. Yeah, it's lumbering. And then I'll try to maybe change the fuel mixture. Boy, I would like to mark it where it's at now, because for 80% load, it's doing really well. So let me go over, mark it now. Yeah, the energy just isn't there. Yeah, 52. No, that's not good. I forgot where I had this thing. Where the capacity is 8 kW. I can't seem to get much more over that. Even at half power on that heater, 750 watts. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, we're back up to where we were. Still a little low, I think. Alright, 34.4. What are we doing with water here? So oh yeah, it's still pretty warm. How weird is that? There we go. Well, I guess we can call this test good, concluded. 91, we'll go 92, 91, 91.9. It's nice if I can just get this right in that water stream, but hold it in there. I think it's pretty sensitive. Alright, I'm going to call that 93 degrees and check the time. And I think that's about it for the test. Thanks for watching. Okay, close 58, about what it was before, I guess. I'll tweak with that a little bit. But one thing I know is that if I shed the load real quick, this thing starts hunting and surging. So I think maybe it's still trying to get used to its mixture, or the regulator is having trouble regulating when you take that load off. I don't know. I'll have to go look at the throttle position. yeah, wow, when I put that 8 kW load on, that throttle went wide open. So that governor is really working to keep this 8K load as constant as it can. So still at 58 hertz, I'd like to see 60, but 34.5 amps, I mean, it's putting out 8 kW. Temperature, we're pretty much done with this portion of the test. I could shut this meter off. Temperature rise, 96 degrees. It isn't really important because I got a new water heater anyhow, so these are only 4 kW heating elements. The new ones I think are 4,500 kW, I want to say. Yeah, interesting test. I wish I would have watched the throttle position going from low to no load on propane and of course gasoline. But when I get the propane regulator hooked up, I'm thinking that one might work if I knew what pressure that was. We'll go back and revisit that. So, alrighty, I think that was a successful test. I learned some things. Basically 85% or 8 kW is it for this guy, which is not so bad, 34 amps. If I keep it under 30 amps during a power outage, I should be fine. And yeah, I'm good to go. I may let it run for a little bit. I may just stop it and go get lunch and make some lunch or something. I think this was a successful set of testing. Well, this my amp meter goes there. I got all my meters here, and then I'll go compile a video or sew all these videos together. Fred Meyer's had these on sale for $2 a bag. You buy 4 bags and you get them for $2 a piece, $8 total. What else? Hopefully I didn't think of any or miss anything. I'll go shed that load and let that generator cool down, and I'll put the video together. If you stuck with me so far, thanks again for watching. I love this kind of stuff. We're at 62 hertz. So let's go ahead and try and have the other element on here. Oh yeah, 60 hertz. So see that? So yeah, it's not making as much power under natural gas. See, gasoline is perfect. Right where you want to be. So let me see if I can put this in here. Hold this up. I want to add the additional 1500 watts of that space heater. Okay, so we're at 60 hertz, 34. Let's put this heater on here. This is a full 9,500 watt load. Yeah, so if you on gasoline, yeah, I guess it's not even handling it on gasoline. So, but that is 9,500 watts. So let's go to low power on the heater, which would be 750 watts. Hertz, 34.6. The RPM probably a little less than 3,600. Yeah, 8 kW is about it on gasoline. And a little less on propane. So, yeah, there you go. Not much more I can say about that. Some arc in here. That'll be it for the test. Okay. Now I think we have all the data, I hope. Look over here. Got the water off, got the meter off. And I gotta go work on this antenna. It's down, my doublet is down, so there we go. No more generator. Okay, thanks for watching. Oh yes, natural gas. Hi Casper. You're enjoying that heat shedding all over the carpet. All right folks, I got some closing thoughts here on all this natural gas generator testing today. I hope I didn't bore you with a jerky, disjointed video. I'm trying to get better with that. So in conclusion, we talked about this in the video. The water temperature, which is really meaningless, has nothing to do with this test. I'm just curious about that. So when I was running both elements in that water tank, both of which were 4 kW apiece, it was running about 34 amps. And wasn't quite at 60 hertz, and we're going to talk about that. So when I measured the natural gas usage on a meter, 2 turns of a half a cubic foot, it took 21.8 seconds on my stopwatch. And to figure out how many cubic foot an hour that is and how many BTU that is, you basically take 60 seconds or 1 minute divided by 21.8, the number of seconds it took to do 1 cubic foot, and you come up to 2.75 and change actually. And so if you want to see what that takes, what that comes out to per hour, you just take 2.75 times 60 again for 60 minutes in an hour, and you come out with 165.13 cubic foot per hour. I actually did 2 tests, 2 measurements. The other one was 163.6. So we'll round that off to just say 165 cubic feet an hour. And we know that for BTU, it's basically 1,000 cubic feet per BTU, or 1,000 BTU per cubic foot. So 1,000 times this is basically 165,000 BTU. So that's more than what I expected. So it was running about 87,000 BTU with no load. A friend of mine, John, thought it would be closer to 200. My guess was more like 125,000, but turns out the actuals were 165,000 BTUs. And it was a little bit overloaded because it wasn't 60 hertz. I did measure the voltage a little bit low, 236.5, but there could have been some voltage drop with the 12 gauge wire. But if you remember some of the videos, I went back on natural gas. When I tried to run both of those heating elements in parallel, I couldn't get quite 60 hertz. And on the RPM meter, it was less than 3,600 RPM, which means it was basically out of regulation. The throttle was wide open, and it wasn't able to keep up with the load, with the demand. And so then in that video you saw where I went through and disconnected one of the elements. It was only 4,000 watts, and it went in regulation. It was 60 some hertz and 17 amps or whatever. And then I added on some additional load, which is a little space heater. It has two settings, low and high. Hold on a second, I gotta sneeze here. Wow, excuse me. Low and high, 750 watts and 1,500 watts, respectively. And when I added that to the single heating element, boy, dang, too much time outside. Anyway, I added the 1,500 watt space heater, or the space heater on high, to one of the elements that was 4,000 watts. That's about 5,500 watts, and it was still in regulation on natural gas. Also, switching gears here, in that video, I also went back to gasoline. I just stuck the gas pickup in the gas cam, ran both of the elements on gasoline, and noticed that it was 60 hertz, 61 or 60, whatever, same 34 amps basically. And the RPMs were a little bit over 3,600, which means it was in regulation. There was some headroom, 3,650 or something. So we know the generator can run 8,000 watts comfortably on gasoline. We do know that on natural gas with this particular setup, with 15 feet of 3/4 inch hose with that Garrettson KN style regulator, it wouldn't run both of the elements at exactly 60 hertz. So it was out of regulation by a little bit. Question is by how far. So in review, we know that we can do one element of 4,000 watts plus a space heater at 1,500 watts for 5,500 watts, and it was fine. I would like to creep up a little bit closer to where to try to find that point where it falls out of regulation. And I forgot about this when I was doing the test. I actually have another 110 volt, 120 volt space heater in the shed. That's about 1,500 watts. So I could have added that to it. So basically that would have been one element of the hot water tank at 4,000 watts plus two 1,500 watt 120 volt heaters, which would have been 3,000 watts. So that would have been 4, 5, 6, 7,000 watts. So we know that it can't hold regulation at 8,000 watts on natural gas. I'd be really curious to find out if you can handle 7,000 watts. And unfortunately, I didn't do that test. I just went outside to go look and see. I wanted to see if I can do it again, but it turns out it's pouring rain. So I'll have to save that test for another day. So I hope we learned a little bit here. Natural gas is less power. We knew that. We didn't know how much. We know it'll do 5,500 watts in regulation. I want to see how much further it'll do before it falls out of regulation on natural gas. And so that's what we have here. Be interesting to put the scope on to see what that sine wave looks like. If it's out of regulation, that's not good. It's lumbering, it's lagging, it's not 60 hertz. Probably not a good way to run a generator. It's definitely overloaded. Throttle is wide open. Governor's got it pegged. So we want to reduce the load, find the regulation point on natural gas. So we can do the percentages if I knew what that number was. But anyway, that's just some additional information in the conclusion of this video. So that concludes all the crappy video stuff. Hope you enjoyed it a little bit. Thank you.